green light. Give us all you can.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's as Nathan goes down the inside of Stephen Reese for P3. My mic wasn't inputting on OBS, but it was on my end, but it had no input for some reason. Oh no. What a disaster. Some of the best racing we've seen, and there was no commentary over it. I apologise deeply, ladies and gentlemen, as Nathan trying the long way round on Steve-O, just can't quite pull it off, and this is inviting Lee Perkins into it, and Longy is using the battling to run away as Nathan has the run as they head down towards Varianta Villeneuve, as they're going to go side by side, and Nathan goes down the inside on Stephen Rees, and he's trying to move up into the P3 place. On the exit, he hits the gravel, he's losing ground, and now Lee Perkins invites himself into this as well. Nathan not quite able to go up the inside, but he gets the cutback, he gets the exit on Stephen Rees as Hoggy is trying to get the nose in, and Lee Perkins has contact in the background as well. Not a massive incident, but nearly a close call there. Hoggy had to back out of the throttle, leave it alone, but this has allowed Longy to get away. Maddie is pulling away as she has been since the race start, but Nathan not waiting around. He's chomping at the bit to try and get past Stephen Rees here, and then he'll try and close in to Longy as well. But the debutant here tonight in Fargone Racing, very experienced behind the wheel. If you watch Octane Online Racing, you'll know who he is. But tonight in Imola, he makes his debut. I've already said this, I've already covered this, but my mic was not working on OBS, which I did not see. Very upsetting, but yeah, here he is. Very, very fast driver, and he's putting his paces towards Steve-O, but a very different grid order to what we'd be normally expecting. Steve-O's been running around the past few rounds with Maddie not on the grid, no Nathan Monks on the grid, Longy not quite having the pace to give it to him. And now Maddie has come back with a vengeance, already 5 seconds out in the lead, and Steve-O sits in P3 with Longy actually being the current P2 and the debut driver tonight also battling for the edge of the podium. So the Ferrari not one of the cars of choice tonight. I don't think. Steve-O really struggling at this point in time, and it's looking like the Mustang and the McLaren are the cars to be in as usual, but normally Steve-O can make the difference, but at Imola not looking like the strongest car. Longy just pushing as hard as he possibly can at the moment to stay ahead and keep gapping away from Steve-O and Nathan Monks, but they still have 17 minutes to close back in. Now that they've stopped battling tooth and nail, hammer and tong side by side every corner, they are going to begin to reel Longy back in and try and make this a three-way fight again, as that's Steve-O very, very wide at this point as they head towards Variante Alta, as Hoggy in the background chomping at the bit, fighting hammer and tong with Lee Perkins in the sensational BMW to try and get the place, but he's pushing too hard. He's just had a snap. That's not the exit you want off of the chicane. You've got to take a lot of curb, but you can't take too much curb. As also, that is Biggie going side by side with Racer as they head down the hill and they break into Ravazza, and he isn't quite able to pull up alongside in the braking, leaves the Aston Martin to his own devices for now. MJ in the Aston Martin fighting with Hugs. They swapped around earlier on in the lap before the timing tower, so I didn't see that. But Steve-O still has Nathan Monks hot on his heels. Perkins, though, has pulled away from Hoggy since his little mistake, but he'll try and close that one back in. And Nathan really putting Steve-O under pressure. Steve-O not used to being in P3 by any stretch of the imagination, but he is here. He's fighting with everything he has in that Ferrari, and they're struggling. They're pretty much the exact same pace as Longy, which is meaning they're not closing back in. That gap is staying around that 2 second mark. They can't find themselves back into P2, but a crucial thing about tonight, it's a qualifying, which we already had, which I was a bit late to, but then we had this 25-minute race, and it's the reverse grid format, which we all know and we all love, which is really going to shake things up, especially with a 19-car grid. We haven't done a reverse grid with this big of a grid yet. We've had close, but 19 cars completely reversed is going to be absolute carnage, especially with Dave Ross's internet being the way it is right now. Complete red bar at the moment, so that could cause a catastrophe later on in the night, but there's still 15 minutes to go. 10 minutes have passed so far in this race as I've never seen a Mustang struggle to muscle past a Ferrari in a straight line, but Nathan just not able to get close enough. He's trying his hardest, but he's also staying conservative so they can try everything they have to get back into that P2 fight with Longy. As across the line they go 2.0 seconds, so they're just clawing in 10th by 10th, but it will take a mistake from Longy for them to close back up in the next 14 minutes to try and fight for the P2. We had a 3-car battle and I was going absolutely mental over the mic, but things happen. As they continue to push. As they head up the hill, they head through Tosa and now towards Piratella. Turn number 9. Still racing away very hard, but I think Nathan knows it's not his place to put his nose in at this stage, as Hoggy is caught back up to Lee Perkins. So the Ferrari made a mistake trying to chase the BMW earlier on, but he's able to close back in now. He's made amends for his mistake, and now he's going to have to try and put the pressure on once again, try and move up into that top 5 place as he heads through Variante Alta. This is where he made the mistake last time, and again taking a lot of curb. That's what you need to do, but the Ferrari definitely not the car you want to try and send it over the top of curbs. It shows. We all saw his snap earlier on in this race. Oh, he runs deep as well. He makes another mistake. Hoggy just seemingly unable to follow, and then a massive drift to come as well through the final corner. A big time loss there for the Ferrari. He's really struggling at this stage of the race. A speed race, so he's under pressure from MJ, but he's also putting the pressure onto Eda Nick. So it's a BMW Aston train here for the P7 position as they will continue to battle on. There's 12.5 minutes just over to go in this race. They're giving it absolutely everything that they can. All the drivers up and down the grid. Several battles going on, but not too much wheel-to-wheel racing quite yet. They're just biding their time, trying to keep each other at bay as we are halfway through this race and we still got half of it to go, and the gloves will start to come off now as we head deeper and deeper in. People will be more willing to go for moves, and I think that is when we'll see the most of the overtakes as we'll move back up to Lee Perkins. He's under an immense amount of pressure here from Hoggy, but we know that Hoggy's making mistakes, but that's also a mistake there from Perkins, very wide off of Piratella as they head down towards Aqua Minerale and just through the double right. You've really got to be careful under braking. Such a tricky corner in any car, let alone a GT car, which doesn't quite have the downforce really to hold up through Aqua Minerale. Such a tricky corner. Use the ABS to your advantage, and that's very wide there for Lee Perkins in the BMW. That'll be a track limit strike and a nice little trip over the sausage curbs. Not the most fun thing in the cockpit. I'll tell you what, he'll be nearly breaking his hands with the force feedback over those sausage curbs. And it's just keeping Hoggy at bay for the moment, and it's allowing Eda Nick to close back in as well. So that BMW behind him is also closing in with 2 charging Astons behind him as well, so that's not what he wants at all. Hoggy will not want more cars trying to battle him as he tries to close in to Perkins and make that move, as meanwhile Nathan Monks and Steve Reese have not been able to close in to Longy too much. Only a couple more tenths. I think that Longy might have the P2 in the bag here with 11 minutes to go, but Nathan will start to pressurize Steve-O once again soon enough, as that is actually a mistake there from Steve-O, a bit wide off of Variante Villeneuve, and now Nathan just really wanting to put the pressure on and try and make a move on Stephen Reese, but he's not able to do it yet. It's just too tight at this part of the racetrack. The middle sector not overtaking inclined, and especially in GT cars the whole track isn't really overtaking inclined to say the least, but definitely you can still muscle your way through, especially if you're in a Ford Mustang, which Nathan Monks does happen to be in, as they've actually lost time to Longy over the course of this lap with their mistake, with their trip into the gravel on the exit. And it's showing as Nathan's so confident over the top of the curbs And he's just trying to put the pressure on to Steve-O, and he is putting the pressure on to Steve-O more accurately as they head down towards Ravazza, towards 18 and corner 17 and 18. But Nathan doesn't want to go down the inside there. He's going to wait. I think he wants a turn one move. I think that is where he's most inclined to go for an overtake. It's the 510 car going very, very slow. Yellow flag for him. That is Lee in P17, or more accurately probably at this point P19, as Dave Ross's internet also comes back into check, so hopefully it doesn't flare up again in the second race when it's a reverse grid. But down towards turn one, Nathan not quite close enough. Imola proving tricky for a lot of these drivers tonight. He's giving it his absolute all here in this 19 car grid. He's trying to get the podium on his debut in Fargone, but the second race will also be a good opportunity as well for him. He'll be the leading car in that winner's train that try to make their way through the field on the reverse grid if he doesn't get the place on Steve-O. Either way, he's putting himself in a good position to fight his way up through the field. But at a track like Imola, all of these leaders trying to overtake is going to be absolute mayhem in race 2, and I'm absolutely here for it, as Maddie is absolutely checking out, clearly the quickest driver on the grid tonight. She got pole by a bee's whisker, but since the race started, she just has the overall race pace. But in quality trim, they're all very close together. Overall pace, they're close together, I think, as well. But maybe Maddie just taking advantage of all the battling at the start of the race, because since Longy was on his own, she's only gained about 1.7 seconds since. So I think that if they're all in a train again in the next race, it won't be too obvious, as Nathan gets a great run off of turn 14, and now he's really going to try. He's going to look down the inside of Stephen Reese. Is he able to pull up alongside? Yes, he is. Is he going to be able to inch ahead as they head towards the apex now? They head through Ravazza. They're still side by side as they round the final corner. Nathan with an aggressive move at the final corner. He's now going to use the straight line speed that the Mustang has to try and inch ahead, but Steve-O retakes the place. He's able to hold on to the place. Monks was only ahead momentarily, but now down the straight, stretching his legs in a straight line is Nathan Monks, and he's now going to go down the inside of turn 1 as they head through Tamburello, and Nathan moves into P3, and absolutely fantastic stuff from Nathan Monks. That was a move and a half. Absolutely sensational stuff here in Fargone Racing. He'll be happy with that move, and now he'll try and pull away from Steve-O, but he'll be hard tasked to do so, and Steve-O will also struggle a lot to try and get back past Nathan Monks, I'm sure, because overtaking a Mustang is like trying to overtake a Jaguar when you're a turtle. It's really just not going to happen, but Steve-O would be the driver to do it. He is always beating the odds here in Fargone Racing. Oh, as that's very wide there for Steve-O, probably taking a track cut for the pleasure as well. Losing time to Nathan Monk. So that Mustang is really quick. He's pulling away from Steve-O quite quickly, and I think maybe he would have been able to close back up to Longy if he wasn't behind Steve-O. So I'm really interested to see if he does start to close into Longy. He doesn't have time to get up to him, but in the second race, this could set up what we're going to expect, and we'll see the lap times as they begin to close in. I don't think it'll be this lap that he closes in. So heading on across the line, we'll keep an eye on the gap from him to Longy, and we'll see if he closes in to Longy on this next lap. So across the line, the gap is 3.6 seconds. Keep an eye on that through the sector splits, as we'll actually do a cockpit onboard lap here with Nathan Monks. I'll shut my mouth, enjoy the Mustang as it pushes around Imola and in the final stages of this race. that is an onboard lap with the Ford Mustang GT3, and he did close in on Longy by about 5/10 over the course of that lap, so not bad from Nathan at all, showing good pace in that Ford in his debut and pulling away from Steve-O as well. So race 2 is going to be really interesting, but Matty is absolutely checked out, 8.4 seconds out the front. But there are other battles going on the racetrack, including these two, who have been back and forth between quite a lot this race, and I'm sure in race 2 they'll continue to fight away as well, but traffic as well will play a big part in race number 2. And Perkins just holding on to the P5 at the moment. Hoggy really trying to put the pressure on, but he just keeps making mistakes when it counts, which is not what you can do, not what you need to do when you're trying to overtake another car, and overtaking a BMW as well isn't super easy. As Perkins now the driver to make a mistake. He heads over the sausage curves, but the BMW takes it like an absolute champ as they head into Variante Alta. And Hoggy, this is where he loses a lot of his lap time, and he makes another mistake at the chicane as well. A big snap on the exit. His tyres will not be liking that one. As he tries to close in to Lee Perkins, he's really struggling to do so. He gets up behind every time, but he can't overtake. It's like he's it's like he just has like gravitational pull towards Lee Perkins, but then he can't get past every time he gets up the back of the BMW, and he makes another mistake off the final corner as well. That was a costly mistake. That's a lot of lap time lost to the car in front of him, as the white flag is waving for some reason. This is not the final lap of the race unless the timer on the top of my screen is wrong, as that's a car off on the side there. Love to know who that was. I think the car might have been a lap down, as, yeah, not sure who was off the track there. I think it was the 48 car of Dave Ross, who's just taking a lap and just cut the circuit to get out of the way, as Hoggy has lost time to Lee Perkins. And he's just going to close it back in again, but we'll go to Maddie, because she is absolutely driven away from the field. She is clearly the quickest driver tonight on her return, looking as strong as ever in the Zoomies Mustang, which we're all too used to seeing, I feel like, at this stage. An absolutely beautiful car. She absolutely loves the livery. And now she's going to round Ravazza. Oh no, Steve-O gets a drive-through! I said that the drivers would have to be careful on track limits, and Steve-O has a drive-through penalty, which will cost him a lot of places, but luckily for him, that will also help him a lot for the reverse grid. That puts him in an absolutely fantastic position in race number 2 to take a good result. He'll be annoyed, but also probably secretly happy in the cockpit as well to start further up in race number 2. It gives him a good chance at the win. After he serves the drive-through, if he doesn't serve it, then he'll just take the big penalty at the end. But that'll put him somewhere in that mid-pack for next race. But Maddie has absolutely driven away from the field. She took advantage of Longy, Monks, and Reese battling away in the opening laps. Pulled 3 seconds, and then from there, she had absolutely no pressure, and she's pulled away triple that, 9.6 seconds to Longy behind in the McLaren in this race, who's also having a beautiful race number 1. And Maddie, as she heads through Aqua Minerale, she's just absolutely dominant in that Ford Mustang. Whenever the track is right for the Mustang, she wins with it, and we're seeing that tonight. The Mustang, absolutely phenomenal at this track, but you have to be a phenomenal driver behind the wheel as well to take such a commanding victory, and she always is able to make the best of her machinery. And on return, she has one more sector to go, and she will be the race 1 winner on her first time back. Her first shot after 2 races off, she's going to take the victory. She rounds Ravazza. She rounds the final corner now, and she will be elated. She rounds turn 19 and is going to cross the line in a couple of moments' time. And Maddie is your race 1 winner in Imola. Take a bow, Maddie. A dominant drive as Longy will come home P2. His one of his best drives of the season, pulling away from Nathan Monks, the debutant, to get P3. Steve-O is going to cross the line P4, but with a 30-second penalty, I think he's going to drop to about P10 or P11. So Perkins will be your P4 car. Hoggy will be P5. Nick will be P6. Speed Racer will be P7. MJ will be P8. Force will come across the line and I think be your P9 just about, as he's flashing the lights. That beautiful black and green Ferrari crosses the line now. I think just inside the penalty range of Steve-O, but it would be close. I don't know where he's going to stack up in the final order. We'll see. Tobasiah will come home in the P11 spot. Swooper will get P12. Boost will get P13. Then Hugs, Davidson, and Ninja, who's still pushing away. Lee has finished the race. Ross has also finished the race. So this is the last car to cross the line. This Porsche, new to the series as well as far as I'm aware. Probably a newer driver, but not a bad debut at all. And it's only up from here for Ninja. And in the reverse grid, he'll try and do his best as well. As the red flag was showing. There, if only ACC had red flags. So Ninja rounding the final corner now. And then we'll get the final official race results, including Steve-O's penalty. So the Porsche crossing the line. Now you can hear the inline 6. And your final race results is Maddie on P1 by 10.3 seconds with fastest lap. Then Longy, Monks, Perkins, Hoggy, Nick, Racer, MJ, Reese, after his penalty, gets P9. That'll put him, I believe, in P10 or P11 for the reverse grid. So he'll be happy with that. That puts him in a great position for next race, actually. I think he'll actually be happy to get the penalty. And then Force, Tobasiah, Swooper, Boost, Hugs, Davidson, Ninja, Lee, Reaper, and Ross rounds out your grid. He will be on reverse grid pole for race number 2. A decent place to start, but also it puts a lot of pressure on you if you don't think you're ready to be leading away a hungry pack of 19 cars. But what a race one. And hold on. We have to leave the session as the server is restarting. And Sensational TV will be back in a couple of moments' time. just a quick update. There's an intermission, obviously, between race 1 and race 2, obviously, which is what we were just doing, and my game's crashed. So hopefully I can get back in time. I've never had AC actually crash on me before, so it's definitely a new one. But just bear with me. Oh, yeah, we're back in. Alrighty. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So, a couple of moments from now, we'll head towards a reverse grid race start, and it is going to be absolute carnage. And yes, so Maddie knocked out the win in the last race, so she'll be starting last, and Lee will be starting on pole position for race number 2 here. It is going to be an exciting race, I'm absolutely sure of it. It's always the way. The broadcasting tool broke out on. This is great stuff, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Alright. So, Lee starts on the front row alongside Ninja, and then Davidson and Hugs is your second row. Then you have Boost and Swooper, your P5 and P6. And then Tobasai, Force, then Reese, because of his very definitely intentional / not intentional, just kidding, Steve, obviously, but his very lucky drive-through penalty. It's put him in an absolutely fantastic position in P9 to try and carve his way through and take the win. The track is also damp. I only just clocked that. It is going to be a very interesting race start. Everybody will start on slicks. I'm absolutely certain of that, because it'll go to dry quite quickly. There's no more expected rain. So it's just going to be a very slip and slidey, sketchy race start. It is going to be absolutely sensational stuff, I'm sure. Steve-O probably in the hot seat to win, starting P9, and the next car that can really challenge that is P15. At MJ in P10, then Racer, Nick, Hoggy, Perkins, and then your top 4 from last race being top 3 from last race being Monks, Longy, and Maddie, starting P15, 16, and 17 with a lot of work to do, and then Dave Ross, because of dodgy internet, etc., starts in P18 at the back of the grid. So 15 seconds until we begin the formation sector, and then get ready for the race start. Lee will have a lot of pressure to perform here tonight off the pole position in race 2. The reverse grids are always very stressful for everybody on the grid as we begin the formation sector now. It's Lee alongside Ninja. As up the front here, it's just condensing a bit, a little bit of a Constantina effect as they all slow up and then speed back up. Trying to get ready for the race start. Lee should pull alongside Ninja before the race starts. So, here in Imola for race 2, it's going to be a chaotic race start. I'm absolutely sure of it. Damp track. 25 minutes, reverse grid nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen. The green flags will be ready to fly. The green lights will be ready to illuminate here for the second time tonight in Fargone Racing GT Challenge season number 19. We are here for race 2 in Imola, and it's Lee alongside Ninja for the race start. as they head towards the line. And we are underway, and already that is Lee dropping back, and Ninja got off to an absolutely fantastic start, but Davidson made the best of that, move past the person who started on pole position, and Biggie also moves up into P2 side by side for a lot of cars up and down the grid right now. Demon Boost gets off to a reasonable start as well, making up places. Swooper side by side with Steve Reese has gotten off to an absolute flyer. He's nearly 3 wide with Force trying to put his nose in the background as well. Steve goes down the inside of Swoopers. That's Ninja off the racetrack. A bit of a dodgy rejoin from the Porsche as well. He's getting out of people's roads upon re-entering the racing surface, so it's Davidson in the lead at the moment, but Steve-O already putting his Ferrari to its paces here as they head through the end of the first sector up towards Piratella now for turn 9, and it's going to be Steve-O looking down the inside. The Porsche forces him as wide out as he can go, and now late on the brakes there from the Ferrari, already moving up into 4th position, starting P9, playing to his absolute advantage there. That's contact in the background. Force will find himself just tripping up just a little bit, but he gets the place to lead a Nick as well in the background, trying his best to hold on, make up places, as well as Lee Perkins trying to put the nose in everywhere he possibly can, and Matty in the background is just sitting back and enjoying the show as they head through Varianza and Eda Nick side by side with Lee Perkins, and Steve-O definitely in a bit of hot water here, trying to finding his way through. Nearly got pushed off earlier on in the lap, but damp track here. You can see the spray kicking off the back, and Matty, oh no, that's a massive crash. Eda Nick gets sent flying across the track. Oh no, that is not what you want at all, and Eda Nick gets absolutely sent flying, no fault of his own. Matty just made contact with him, and he got sent absolutely flying across the track, collecting the Aston Martin as well of MJ. Really unfortunate, but Matty will continue to try and make quick work of the field as he heads down the straight through she heads down the straight towards turn 1 into Tamburello. Matty making up places on Longy now. We know she has the pace over everybody on this field tonight, but can she put it to work as she's now going to try look down the inside of Eda Nick as they head towards Varianza Villeneuve, and down the inside goes Matty, but Eda Nick isn't going to give this one up so easily as they head on the exit, and now back up the hill they go towards Tosa, and that's Longy trying to put the nose back down the inside, not quite able to. Steve Reese though already into P2 in these greasy conditions, so he has made the absolute best of his unfortunate drive-through in race 1 with the reverse grid. He put himself so much further up than all of the cars that had gotten 1, 2, 3 in the previous race, and he's making his best work of it to try and get a race win. He's just got to close into Biggie, then he'll be back up into the lead as Hoggy very wide, and now Matty gets the great run off of Aqua Minerale, and she's going to pull alongside and ahead of Eda Nick as they head into Varianza now, and gets past, and now Longy goes down the inside and tries to go the long way round to the second part, and now that is MJ trying to get back past Longy as well. The Aston Martin, even with damage, is still putting up a fight. There's contact between the two of them as they head down towards Ravazza, and Longy is going to gain the place, I think, and it's very hard to keep track of with these camera angles. No, Longy lost out the place to the Aston Martin, as now we go back towards Nathan Monks, who's ahead of Matty. He got P3 in race number 1, and he's making quick work of the field. The debutant moves up into P number 7. He's side by side with Swooper at turn 1, gets through. That's an Aston Martin slow as well on the right hand side on the grass, but Nathan Monks moves up into P7 and is trying to close up to Swooper and Ninja now. He would be probably one of the only drivers on the grid that has the potential to close up to Stephen Reese once he does claim the lead. He's just got to get through the rest of the field. Easier said than done, as he's going to try it the long way around now, turn number 7 of Tosa. He's trying now to get the cut back on Ninja, and he has a great run off of the corner, and he's going to absolutely fly past into P6 now. Matty really struggling to make quick work of the field after a little incident, maybe a little bit of damage inflicted onto the Ford Mustang, but it doesn't look like it. But the greasy conditions also not playing its hand into this at all, as it's absolutely all hell breaking loose here in Imola, as that's very, very wide, and a big slide there for Ninja as they head now down towards Variante Alta, as this is a very heated moment, as now Swooper goes down the inside and Lee Perkins will try follow suit as well. And now Hoggy is going to go the long way round, gets the run off the corner, and he's now going to try and drag race Ninja down towards Ravazza, turn 17, next up on the agenda for Hoggy. Is he going to be able to go down the inside? I don't think so. Matty is going to try the long way round on Hoggy. Oh no, that's a big piece of contact. That is Ninja rear-ending the back of Lee Perkins in the beautiful, sensational BMW. He did not deserve a rear-ending at all, but that is what he's gotten, as Nathan Monks further up here is trying to close in and get past Force. He's right there on the back, but we'll go back to Maddie, as herself and Hoggy are trying to get past Swooper in the P7 car. Then they'll have the job of trying to close back up to Nathan Monks. Oh no, another rear ending. It's all going on here in Imola. Maddie rear ends another car here in Imola. She hits the back of Hoggy and Hoggy gets sent absolutely flying. As, oh no, I've hit the wrong replay button. And oh no, that is just not what you want to see at all, ladies and gentlemen, here in Imola. But it just seems like the reverse grid is definitely causing some chaos, as it always does. As we'll go to Davidson versus Monks versus Force here, as they head through Piratella and towards Aqua Minerale. This is such a tricky part of the circuit. Monks, one of the quickest cars on the grid at the moment, trying to make quick work of the field. Reese still hasn't gotten into P1 yet. Nathan still has time, given it to be a long shot, but I think he could at least get a podium in this race if he can get past these two. He'd just have to close up to Demon Boost. So we'll go on board here with the Ford Mustang. Definitely, it's struggling a little bit more in these greasy conditions. Such a weird condition to be in the Mustang, because it's always spinning its rears, and this just accelerates that problem ever so much more, as well. As through the final corner, Nathan gets a good run, but he has to be super careful on the throttle. And the P3 debutant from race 1 just trying. He's got to really think here, because you don't want to accidentally throw yourself. Oh, his Keys, Lucas Keys makes an appearance in the chat. Oh wow, that is not something I expected to see tonight. As all Monks making the best of a bad situation there from Davidson, and he's going to go down the inside of Tamburello, gets through, moves into P5. Force still next up on his list as well. That is a brilliant move there from Nathan Monks. But Lucas Keys, welcome into the chat, mate. How are you doing? And he's supporting his man. He's backing Nathan Monks here in Fargone Racing. So a little bit of supporting going on at the moment. As Monks just trying to get the run. He has the run up the hill down towards Piratella, but nothing going at the moment. He's trying to move into P4. Force not making it easy though. He's making that Ferrari about as wide as a dump truck on a Monday morning when the bus is trying to get past. And that's not me speaking from pure bitterness, I can assure you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's there's 16.5 minutes to go here in Imola, and it's still all to play for here for the podium spaces. Reese is right up behind Biggie for the lead, but not quite close enough to go for a move. But Nathan is close enough to go for a move on Force, as he's thinking about it. And is he going to go down the inside of turn 17? No, he will not. Davidson wide in the background, nearly another rear ending going on. What is going on with all the drivers here in Imola? We've had about 3 cars rear-ended here, and that was nearly a 4th to add to the list as well, as Nathan in the slipstream will be closing on Force as they head down the straight. He's going to pull alongside, and he's going to be inching ahead here as they head down towards Tamburello, and Nathan Monks moves into P4. Force tried to put the nose back in, couldn't quite pull it off, and now next on his list is 5 seconds up the road to Demon Boost. He has a lot of pace over the top of Demon, but if he can do it in 15 minutes is another question, and he'd have to get an overtake done as well, as Steve-O putting the pressure on the back of Hugs here for the race lead. So the reverse grid, we know that Hugs last season, or no, it was this season in Misano, took the race win in the same format, reverse grid, because Steve-O just couldn't quite catch up to him. And he's taken advantage of the reverse grid again to take the lead. But Steve-O's right up his chuff now here in Imola. It's not the same situation as Misano in the full wet conditions, but it's definitely still going to be a good attempt at Hugs to try and defend as Steve-O makes a mistake a little bit wide here in Variante Alta. And Hugs trying to stretch the legs now, just making it making advantage of Steve-O's mistake. As Maddie, where is Maddie on the grid? She's down in P13, really struggling to get through the field, I think, at this current stage. She just isn't able to get past anyone. It's really surprising to see, as the track is no longer greasy. It's now up to fast. The Mustang will have a little bit more grip, but so will everybody else. But I think she's just struggling to find her way through. Monk's made short work of the field. Longy's not having the best time of things either. So the reverse grid really changing up the storyline of these races, I think, as Nathan sets the fastest lap of the race trying to close down Demon Boost. He closed 2.5 seconds that lap, as now Loopty, my commentary partner from last season in OOR, makes an appearance in the chat as well. How are you, Jaden Rondinella, mate? How are you doing? As all of the boys coming to support Nathan Monks here tonight, as he's nearly within 2 seconds of Demon Boost for the final podium places. Steve Reese is right underneath the rear wing now of Biggie for the race lead as they head down towards Aqua Minerale. Steve-O won't go for it here. That'd be reckless, but he's just trying to show the nose, force Biggie into a mistake as they head up the hill towards turn 14. As, yeah, Loopty absolutely loving it, supporting Monks, and he's really putting in a shift here, isn't he? He went from third last on the grid to now being in P number 4, chasing down P3. And if Hugs keeps defending as hard as he is, even though it's a 10-second gap, with the amount of time that he's gaining, he could find himself potentially even fighting for the race win here. But that is quite a bit of a stretch, if I dare say so, as Steve-O closing in with the slipstream here on Hugs as they head down the straight towards Tamburello. Steve-O is going to pull to the outside, and he's going to try go side by side. There's traffic involved as well. Steve-O trying the long way around a turn 1, isn't able to pull it off. Traffic causing a little bit of confusion. Hugs hits the curb too hard now as they head down towards Variante Villeneuve. Will Steve-O put his nose in now towards turn 5 and turn 6? No, he won't. And there's more traffic as well. Dave Ross is in front of them in the Ford Mustang. He makes a mistake. He will get out of the way of the two leaders as they head up the hill through turn 7. And Hugs just absolutely defending with all of his life as Monks got past Demon Boost for the P3. I missed the move, but an absolutely sensational drive from him so far, from third last on the grid to third with the reverse grid. Steve-O starting P number 9 is still hounding for the P1 place, but what more can you expect? Steve-O has absolutely dominated this season, but didn't quite at the pace here in Imola. But after a drive-through that gave him a penalty, it started him just a little bit further up than those other leaders. It put him in prime position to take advantage of the lap 1 chaos and be on the back of P1 very, very hastily. And it's put him in a great position to take a win here, despite not being the fastest driver tonight. As Steve-O just really struggling to get past, as Zach O'Reilly saying Monks is the quickest. In race 2, yes, very much. He's absolutely flying, but Maddie in race 1 was an absolute machine. Pulled away 10 seconds from the field. If it wasn't for her struggling with traffic, I think she'd still be the quickest on the grid in race number 2, but Monk's definitely the fastest on the grid in race 2, as Steve-O is going to have another crack at it now. Down the straight towards turn 1. And this is going to be all to play for the race lead. How late is Hugs daring to break to fight back against Steve-O here? The long way round, tricky to pull off. Oh no, there's contact. And that is Hugs off into the wall as well. Not what you want to see whatsoever. Down towards turn 1. Oh, he just ran wide out into Steve-O. That wasn't Steve-O's fault whatsoever. And nah, not what you want to see at all. Really, really unfortunate for Biggie. He was having such a strong race, but I believe That puts Nathan in a great place to attack Biggie, and the McLaren will also have damage. As yeah, Ron, there's sound. There wasn't for a good majority, well, for the first like 6 minutes of race 1 in qualifying, which really annoyed me. My mic wasn't coming through for whatever reason, and I had to fix it, which I didn't realise. But race 2, or since about 6 minutes into race 1, we've had audio. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, Monks is in prime position to take a P2 here in his second race in Fargone, in his first full round of Fargone as well. P3 in race 1, currently looking to chase down for P2 in race 2 with 9 minutes to go. He's on the back of Biggie now, who will have damage, overheated tyres, the works, as through turn 17, now into turn 18. He has an absolutely great run, and he's in the slipstream. It's not going to be close enough for a move here, but it's under a second now. It's about 0.5 of a second as they cross the line, 0.4 of a second. And in the slipstream, closing in, is Nathan. He's going to make quick work of Hugs. Steve-O stayed behind for quite a while, but definitely Nathan with the Mustang will be putting all the pressure on that he possibly can, and then the hunt will be on for P1, but that will be almost an impossible gap to close. He'll just be hoping on a Steve-O mistake, but Monks is now going to look down the inside of turn 5, and he's going to get that one done. Absolutely fantastic stuff there from Monks. Moves into P2 from third last on the grid to second place with 8.5 minutes to go. That is an absolutely sensational performance from him. He'll get my driver of the day if he can just bring this one home, and it has been an absolute pleasure watching him pull that drive off. But now he hopes for a Steve-O mistake, I think. It's not going to be, I think. Steve-O, once he's out in the lead, once he's calm, he has a level head, he doesn't make too many mistakes, but you can never say never at a track like Imola. It's all possible that Steve-O will make a mistake. So Monks will just keep his head down, keep pushing, and just hope that Steve-O makes a mistake. But with the fast lap of the race, definitely proving himself as a worthy competitor here in Fargone, as he has done several times in the OOR scene as well. Bursting onto the scene last season in sprints of OOR, took a win in Paul Ricard, and is now competing in the pro class over there. And now he's made a debut in Fargone as well, just expanding his league racing horizons, I think. And he's definitely loving it with a P3 and now a P2. He's got some steep competition up the front as well. Steve-O, Maddie, and Longy, not short of fast drivers whatsoever. As Longy, speaking of, is trying to put the pressure onto Eda Nick as he heads down the straight, putting the pressure on. This is for P7. Longy probably not having the race he would want, and neither is Maddie as well, fighting for the P10 spot. Not what I expected to see from these leaders at all. I thought they were going to charge right through and be up the front, much like Monks has done, and even Steve-O from P9 made his way through to P1 fairly quickly, as there's 6 minutes 45 to go. And in the McLaren, putting all the pressure on is, yeah, Marshall, you're absolutely right. He got a drive through conveniently in race number 1, did Steve-O. And now it's all coming down to it. I don't think he'll get track cuts. But Maddie is putting on the pressure. I saw it in the background of the camera shot as they head through turn 7, as they head through Tosa. Maddie up the hill trying to put the pressure onto Hoggy to get the P10 spot. And will she go down the inside of Piratella? I don't think so. Yes, she thought about it. She did put the nose in, as she gets a great run off the corner, but you can't get a move done down the inside there unless you're fully alongside or you're very, very brave. And then Aqua Minerale won't work either. So now the next overtaking opportunity is down into Variancy Alta, as she's going to try it the long way around. She's alongside Hoggy on the entry, just compromises his entry and then forced over the curb. We know that Hoggy has a love-hate relationship with that chicane from race number 1. And she has absolutely played this to perfection, but still Hoggy getting a little bit of a gap from Maddie. She's struggling to make overtakes. As we'll go on board here, cockpit camera with Maddie as she's putting the pressure on and hounding more and more on Hoggy. And in the slipstream. She's gaining and gaining and gaining, and she's going to go for a move. She tries the left-hand side. She's going to be forced over the curb and over the grass from Hoggy. It was a bit aggressive from her, but now she's going to go down the inside, and Tamburello isn't able to pull up alongside Hoggy, defending really nicely here and also just holding his line, and Maddie tried to make it work anyway. She's desperate for an inside move. Probably a bit of frustration creeping in the cockpit of the Ford Mustang. She dominated race 1 commandingly, and then she just has made a mockery here in race 2. She rear-ended poor Ida Nick, I think it was. Or was it the Aston? I can't quite remember. And then now she's just not been able to make any inroads since. Maybe just a little bit of damage on the Ford Mustang. With 4.5 minutes to go, she's still hounding. She wants a top 10. As she's really wringing the neck out of that Ford Mustang. She's battling hammer and tong here with Hoggy. Lap in, lap out. As she's going to try the long way round again. And it's a similar story to last lap, but this time she's more alongside. But she's going to run out of road. And she's going to compromise her exit. That allows Hoggy to get a great exit compared to herself, and Hoggy is just going to pull away, use that, and then she's going to be trying to get a desperate move into turn, well, I guess technically turn 2 once again. So I think she's just got to stop trying the outside move at Variante Alta, but I know that when all you're seeing is red in the cockpit, you just try and force anything available to you, and she's just definitely seeing red through her visor at this stage, just not able to make any sort of overtake. Imola, tricky as always. And it's really showing. As up the front, Nathan is not going to be close enough to go for a move at all. In fact, the gap has stayed fairly similar, but the pace between the top 2 is like eerily close as Maddie tries to go down the inside. Oh no. Didn't even think she was going to put a nose in there, hence why I started talking about the leaders. And then there was contact. She returns to the pits as well. Oh no, Maddie. She's had an absolute mare of a race 2. Luckily, she has a dominant race 1 to show for it, but not what you want to do. She was just too far back to try and throw the nose in. She used the Mustang straight line speed, and then she just tries to make a late lunge, but at turn 1 at Imola, it's never going to work. Tamburello is not the sort of chicane you can do that. She just tags the back, spins out Hoggy, puts herself in a wall. She won't be happy with her performance in race 2 at all. Not what you want to be seeing from a driver who's so good, so quick, but sometimes it happens. Bad races happen. She's just got to get her head back down. But this is an absolutely enthralling fight here as they pass Davidson, Longy and Ida Nick clearing the Ford Mustang, and now Longy is still over the back of Ida Nick. That would have been his opportunity to pounce here, but he wasn't able to use it. As they head down through turn 17. And Ida Nick will be quite happy with just holding on and getting a top 6 here, I'm sure. As, where is Longy gone? Have I missed something? Oh, there's Longy, hold on. I've missed something, like, dire here. I don't know what I've done. Like, I didn't even... What has happened to Longy? Here's a replay. So down towards turn 17. Did he miss the corner or something? Like, what did I miss? What did I not see in the background? Oh, he's just nearly missed the corner and he got tapped around by Davidson. That's why he just fell off a lot of lap time and then got out of the camera shot. Really unfortunate there to be tapped around by Davidson. Not Davidson's best driving to say the least, but unfortunate. But Stephen Rees is on the final lap of this race. Well, no, he's not. Next lap will be the final lap of this race. I don't know why the engineers said it early, because there's less than a minute to go this lap. So, regardless, we'll go to Steve-O. And what a race he has had. He got a drive-through at the end of the last race when he was fighting for P3 with Nathan Monks. And it's actually played to his advantage. It means he started in P9 in this race with the reverse grid. And he'll be quite content to get a race win tonight. He didn't have the pace in race 1, nor does he have the pace right now. Nathan has been closing in tiny bit, but also Nathan has been making mistakes as well throughout the laps. But Steve-O made advantage of his superior starting position to the other fast drivers on the grid, made his way up through the field and got to P4 by the end of lap 2, and then chased through, got past Force, then got past Boost, and then he had a hammer and tong fight with Hugs, who put on a defensive masterclass, but since then he's been unstoppable, and he's just pulled away 11 seconds to Nathan Monk's behind, and he's heading through the middle sector. He heads through turn 7, now up the hill towards Piratella, and it has been an absolutely fantastic drive from Steve-O to take the race win. All he's got to do is negotiate another sector of Imola, and then he'll be home free. So even when he doesn't have the most pace, he uses his racing IQ to make the best of it, and he's made the best of what was not his best performance pace-wise, and he's still going to come home in a P1 place as he heads through Varianti Alta. He'll be ecstatic with the drive. I'm more than certain of it. As he rounds now through turn 16, the flat-out right-hand kink, and then he heads towards turn 17 and 18, the final corners of the lap. Ravazza, just flick it through the left and then power out and race 2. What a commanding drive from Steve-O with the reverse grid, creating all sorts of carnage as usual. He'll come towards the line now, and Steve-O is your race 2 winner. What a drive. But speaking of good drives, Nathan Monks from P17 on the grid to P2. What a drive from Nathan Monks. Take a bow. The debutant showing he's got the guts to be here with a P3 and a P2. Hugs will come home with a podium. The reverse grid suit him well. Every time there's a reverse grid, he takes advantage. Demon Boost will come home in P4. Davidson will come home in P5 with Speed Racer just behind in P6. Then Force will come home in P7 with Longy hot on the heels, and then MJ in P9. Tobasaya will get P11. Maddie won't get P11. She'll finish up the back. Swooper will get P12. Oh no, Lee Perkins just having a little bit of a spin across the line there. Eda Nick gets P14. Ninja gets P15, but he hasn't crossed the line just yet. Lee will get P17. Lee's 3 laps down, so Ninja just flying past him. But these are going to be the final 2 to cross the line. Absolutely fantastic driving all round from all the drivers on the grid tonight. 19 car grid, despite the leaderboard not showing that. But yeah, Nathan third last to second place, and Steve-O P9 to P1 from memory, or it was P11 to P1, something like that. Great drives from both of them. Matty just got caught up in the drama of a reverse grid race. So did Longy. Not what you need from a reverse grid race. So your final order is Reese, Monks, Hugs, Boost, Davidson, Racer, Force, Longy, MJ, Hoggy, Tobasaya, Swooper, Perkins, Nick, Ninja, Ross, and then Maddie and Lee round out your final finishing order. That has been Fargone Racing GT Challenge Season 19. Round number 5 or 6 around Imola. Yeah, round number 6 at Imola. Thank you for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute honour. I've been Lindsay Muddle in the comms box. Monk's driver of the day, I definitely agree, Ronald Marshall. But, yeah, keep it flat out.